Hello, and welcome back to Nick's Hobbies and Interests. So, it finally arrived. I had this on order. I missed the original release and now managed to pick up the reissue. It is from So Toys. It is an unlicensed third-party release of The Last of Us. I already had Joel and the clicker. I was just waiting on Ellie. And now that she is here for the first time, we're going to open the box. I say we because I haven't actually looked inside as of yet. I've unboxed the packaging but not opened the box itself. So I will gradually take the lid off, be very careful, and one by one we will go through every piece, including the figure, until we've gone through the entire box. There is 2 levels. There's an accessories section underneath. We're going to cover those as well. So let's get to it. Okay, so starting with the figure of Ellie. She has of course got a little bag over her head just to protect the head sculpt. She does come with 2 head sculpts. We'll get round to the second one eventually. For now, we will take a closer look at the default. It's a more serious tone. In my opinion, the likeness isn't perfect, but then again it is based off a video game, and also it's an unlicensed release, so there's 2 things there that could also be in effect really. I think the sculpting of the hair is on point for what I remember of the video game. It's been a while since I last played it. As you know, I'm on Horizon at the moment. Hair is very different between the 2 characters, but yes, if I can remember correctly, it's a very similar looking hairstyle. Another thing I want to address is the arm with the tattoo. It is the first figure I have owned with tattoos, and I like how they have done this. You do get I think they're called seamless arms, so from shoulder to wrist it is all one piece. And then for that tattoo reason, you know, for the reason of having the tattoo on the arm, as glossy as it might look, it actually in hand looks really cool. It's nice not having the joint in the elbow, but as we will get there later, you do get another set of arms. For now we'll focus on the articulation and the clothing. The clothing itself, including the body, has been weathered. You can see Ellie's knuckles are bruised and a bit battered. The clothing of course is a bit more worn and you could say weathered. It's got blood patches near the bottom, and I have to admit, after getting past the knees, you get down to the shoes and the boots, if you like, or trainers. They are probably the most impressive piece. I think they are fantastic. They look incredible. They look worn. They look, well, filthy, to be fair. They don't look clean. They look used and abused. I think they look great. As 1/6 scale shoes go, yeah, they got to be my favourite. But now that we all know I have a foot fetish, shall we move on? So, articulation. It's quite restricted, especially with the arms, obviously the seamless ones. I will be switching them out for the ones with the joints, just simply because at the end of the video when I come down to posing, it's a lot easier. We'll move on to shotgun. The sawn off version of the stock, I believe Joel has the extended version. The shotgun, other than that, is pretty much a replica of the one you get with Joel. Unpacking this, I did wonder what it was. It was only when I actually got it out of the bag that I realised it is actually Ellie's flick knife, I think they're called. But yeah, it's her blade, her knife that I think her mum gave her in the story or lore of The Last of Us. It's nicely weathered. It's got some blood on the end, making it look like it's been involved in a bit of combat. And of course, by now, in The Last of Us Part 2, you can guarantee it has been. As an accessory, it's a nice little replica of Ellie's knife from the video game. So yeah, I'm glad they had it. You know, I'm glad they added it in. Anyway, let's move on. The revolver. It would make sense, but this, I believe, is identical to Joel's. Because, spoiler warning, I believe it's his. she takes it right at the beginning of the second game before she heads out on her journey. It's not worth really talking about because it is, like I say, the same as the one you got with the Joel figure. So we will move on. We'll go to the next piece, which is Ellie's pistol. Now this one is silenced with a bottle, and I love this feature, especially for this figure actually. It is just a mould of a gun, isn't it? And then it's just got a bottle stuck on the end. Yeah. No blasting hole in the end, so obviously it's not been used yet. But yeah, it's a cool little piece, and I'm definitely going to use it in the posing. I was quite a fan. And of course, that bottle is something you have to use in crafting. You craft the silenced pistol in the game. So. Anyway, the head sculpt, let's have a quick look. It is the angry face. I already know, to be fair. It's the same hair sculpt, just with a different... well, actually, there is a blood streak going down the side of her face, but it is just a more damaged version plus angry pose. Like the arms, I'll toggle between the two. I will have photos with one and then the other. I'll pose Ellie with both head sculpts. Moving on, we have the Molotov. Very similar to the one you get with Joel, only this one doesn't actually appear to have liquor in it, or at least it's not. It's a transparent liquor. Now the next one is the flashlight. I like this as an accessory because you got to remember Uncharted and The Last of Us are done by the same studio, Naughty Dog, so they would use the same assets. The light here in front of you is pretty much very similar to the one Nathan Drake would have. So if you wanted to go for a Nathan Drake figure build, let's say, and customize and build your own, you could very easily use this torch to do so. And then we move on to the brick. I'm not going to stay on the brick too long because it is the same one you get with Joel. So we'll move on. This next one is quite interesting because it's Ellie's notebook, also sketch pad, also diary or journal. But if you go through page by page, each page has something else on it. How accurate it is to the game, I don't know. I recall some bits and then other bits I'm like, was that in there? But as you can see, for an accessory, it is filled. And they've done this, I think, with a few other of their figures. I've seen the Gunslinger figure that comes with a journal from Red Dead 2, and that's Arthur Morgan's journal. And once again, like this, it's filled with pages filled with content. So it's a nice touch to detail. If you actually want to have it on display, it's there. As a standard, you get multiple different hands. I won't go through them all. There's fists, there's gun holding hands, there's accessory holding hands. You know, it's the usual. So we will move on to the second layer underneath. This is where all the cool accessories are. More weapons, backpacks, the other arms, the bow and arrow, the bolt action rifle. Let's go through them. Starting with the guitar. Very cool looking, but again, it is something Joel came with. It's not exactly, it's not something new, let's say. But it's a nice feature. I'll definitely have them both playing the guitar together in the posing. I'll have them side by side, making it look like they're on stage performing for a crowd. And in case you're wondering, the strings aren't fixed, they are loose. So you can, as you can see, they do move. Again, we will move on to the next accessory. One of the better ones in my opinion, and that is the bow and the arrows, as you get more than one. I will probably get a pose with Ellie using the bow, or at least holding it. I'm not sure. I've got some poses in mind, so yeah, we'll just see. Once again, like the guitar, the string, you can obviously not adjust, but you can play with it a bit. So if you want to form a pose with her drawing an arrow, yeah, I think it'd be easily doable. You got the arrows themselves. I think you got about 4 of them. There's 3 and there's the 4th. So yeah, in the video game she has them stuck out the back of the bag. That might be a good place to put them. If not, down the side of the bag, or of course she could be holding one in her hand. The metal pipe is another weapon that has carried over from the first game. You could have this with either survivor. You could have it with either Joel or Ellie. It's not something I plan to use personally. I won't put it with my figure. But the bolt action rifle, I think, is lovely, and I'm glad we finally got one. We didn't, I don't think. We didn't get it with Joel, but I am glad it was added with Ellie. I wanted to pick up the accessories pack, but unfortunately the Toys Wonderland, Comic Sanctorum, all the places I've been looking, the accessories pack have been sold out. But of course there is the likes of eBay. It's just added onto one of those lists of things I must buy, like the head sculpt for Tony Stark. That's still missing. I'm going to crop a bit out here. This bag is just in a little pocket. It is just holsters, gun holsters, etc. Straps and other little bits like that, all in a little bag. Not too important, but yeah, you get the idea. They were just tucked in the foam pocket there. From one bag to another bag. This one contains the additional arms and, to my surprise, which I didn't know came with it, a pin from the, spoiler alert, but the museum that, I think it's a museum, that Joel takes Ellie to. She gets a little pin for her backpack, in which, in the next piece I pull out, the backpack itself, you will see the pin stuck on the side. Now this is something Ellie picks up in The Last of Us 2. You do, as I was just pointing out, you do get a base stand. I won't be displaying it because I've got an Ellie stand ready to go. All the zips, pockets, the straps, etc., they're all functional. You can use them all. So when it comes down to actually having this on display and using it, it's going to look the part. And then finally, after the backpack is down, we have the additional, I guess, outfit. It's not a full outfit, it is just the chest piece. It is a coat for obviously bad weather, you know. An additional outfit piece if you wish to change up her appearance. I'll again pose her in, well, both. The jacket itself has been nicely weathered. It's, once again, like the rest of the outfit, it is dirty, it is grubby, it is used. I like it, I really do, and I still think it looks the part. I've got blood patches, I've got dirt, grime. Yeah, it's her out in the wilderness kind of outfit piece. So one quick look with everything she comes with. This is it. This is everything you get with Ellie, minus the stand, because obviously I've got my own. And now posing, right at the end of the video. So enjoy, I'll talk you through them. Our first one, it is still Joel and the clicker together. I've just added Ellie alongside. Joel is just simply kicking the clicker's head in, you know, as you do. This next one was taken because when I was switching out the seamless arms, I of course did take off the clothes to get to them easier, to get to the joints up in the shoulders. But whilst I was there and Ellie was standing there in a vest, I thought, well, hell, might as well pose her. You never really see her in the vest, I don't think. But yeah, you get an idea. I've tucked the revolver into her trousers just to make it look the part. This next pose is the one I promised. Joel and Ellie rocking it out together with their guitars. I made Joel look like a freaking rock star, and then Ellie's got a bit of a serious face. I don't think she's too happy strumming along next to him. This next pose is based actually more on the first game when Tess, Joel and Ellie get stopped outside the city or outside the quarantine zone. It's the moment Ellie or Joel discovers Ellie's actually infected. And finally the poses I ended on. A nice combat pose. You had Joel about to get attacked by a clicker and then Ellie coming in behind him, meant to look like she's injured but ready to pull the trigger on the clicker. And I might as well show you how I decided to display them on my own shelves. So here's the three of them all standing together on my shelf. They look great if you ask me. I'm tempted to make a diorama base. You can bet that you'll see more of these guys on my channel later down the line when I do more with them. So yeah, if I'm going to pose them up differently, keep an eye out. Anyway, if you got this far, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And until next time, take care.